I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order and ask that we start with the Pledge of Allegiance this morning. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning. I can ask for approval of this morning's agenda.
Make a motion to approve today's agenda.
I will second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next, I can ask for approval of the minutes from April 28th and May 5th, 2021.
I will move to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next, I have is consideration of approval of the claims dated May 12th, 2021.
Make a motion to approve the May 12th, 2021 claims for payment.
I will second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Emergency management update. Emergency management coordinator Creighton said he had nothing for an update this morning. He was working with his partners at Homeland Security and Emergency Management on a new alerting system. So he's unavailable this morning. Next, I have is 2 utility permits for consideration.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve utility permit UT-21-007 for Northern Natural Gas Company.
I will second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And I'll also make a motion to approve UT-21-008 for aerial installation for Midland Power Co-op.
I will second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Taylor, secondary roads update.
Yep, so the 6 culverts they're replacing on the highway down by Garden City, they've got 3 of them done. They've done 1 each day since Thursday, so, you know, they're halfway done. They keep getting 1 done per day, so things are going according to plan.
Okay.
So,
Weather's cooperated fairly
Yep.
well, so.
yep, same with the bridge project. They poured concrete yesterday, and I think they're gonna pour it again tomorrow, so we're getting closer on that too.
Good.
Okay,
So, yep, everything's good here.
all right. Thank you, Taylor.
Yep.
I'll give these to you. Okay. Angela, I'm gonna assume I can help you out and find out who's on the iPhone.
Yeah.
Can I ask whoever is on the call with the iPhone to identify yourself, please, for the record?
Is it me, Jolene Hykins?
It is you, Joe. Good morning.
Okay,
Thank you.
yep.
All right. Next, I can ask Michael to unmute people for public comment. All right, people are unmuted.
This is Donna.
Good morning, Donna.
Morning. Regarding the permit for ATVs and UTVs, I have talked to some people and I have some comments regarding that for you before it goes into discussion or anything else. The comments I have received are as follows. Who's going to enforce it?
That'd be, okay, I'll let you ask your questions and I'll respond.
Well, there's questions and comments.
Okay,
You start that, they'll, meaning visitors, will just go to some other county. They better stop this PDQ. Then what about snowmobiles? If they do that, they better permit bicycles too. They better require riding lawnmowers that go on the streets to have permits too. More of us farmers use them than are brought in by visitor. You have to permit a golf cart. You're gonna need a driver's license too. they'll have to catch me first. They better stop this PDQ. I use mine to make a living, not for fun. What's next? Permits on our other farm equipment? That figures somebody that doesn't even farm comes up with this idea. I don't know, did I say if they do that, they better permit bicycles too? Those are the comments that I have received. Just to let you know. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Additional public comment this morning.
It's Julie Dunn. I have concerns as well about the ATV, UTV enforcement. When we asked for a ordinance against 24/7 dogs being tied outside 24/7, you guys said you couldn't enforce it. Those animals were tied down 24/7, so you knew where they were at, but yet you didn't feel you could enforce that ordinance. And now you want one where people will be driving around all over. And if you think they're just going to have 18 pieces of pizza and a 12-pack of Pepsi, you know you are mistaken. Who's going to actually enforce this? Will the sheriffs be out cruising gravel roads, looking for people drinking and stuff? Because you know that's going to happen. By the time they get there, if it's reported, those people will be long gone. This is just not a good idea. There's farm equipment using those roads. This is not, yeah, good luck. But with enforcement, it's not going to, that's not going to happen because people will be driving around and they won't get caught. Thank you.
Okay. Additional public comment.
I guess my question, this is Carrie, what makes us think that they're not already driving around on these vehicles and not getting caught? I guess I understand where some of the concern comes in with enforcement, but I don't really understand why we think that's not already going on. I mean, why not try and blend it and regulate it a little bit more? But just my rebuttal there.
Thank you, Carrie.
What makes you think, Carrie, that adding
I'm just gonna-
fuel to the fire doesn't make a difference? Because it does.
Okay. All right. Any additional public comment? Hearing none, I'm going to go ahead and move on to.
No, wait, I had my phone unmuted. I thought it wasn't. I'm sorry. This is Joe Hykins. Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just want to make a couple comments. First of all, if in the ordinance, if you've read it in 1.06 to the first lady, that is exempt for farmers. So the permit and things they don't have to get. Number two, I didn't know if I'd be able to comment when you guys have your discussion. So I am just asking if this is pertaining to ATV and UTV, or if that's something you're taking off the table.
The way it has been drafted and conferring with Attorney Meyer and Angela De La Riva that both ATV and UTV were in the ordinance.
Okay, because that's still the one I'm looking at. Is that still what's going to be in discussion today when it comes to you guys? Or are you looking at taking one of those out?
Wait till the,
Yeah, let's wait till the discussion, but.
Am I able to say anything during that time? Because I don't want to not follow protocol.
I would prefer you contact the board directly, either via phone or email.
Well, then
we
I'm
laid
just
out-
gonna ask the question now, and I know there's a couple of you that don't want the ATVs and you're concerned about liability. Can you explain to me why?
Actually, from what I was on that side of the fence, Joe, and after further research and talking to other people in other counties, I was able to be educated, and it wasn't. It's no longer a concern in my eyes, Joe. So
Okay.
Yep.
The other point I
think it
just
worked.
wanted,
yeah, I
What?
think it worked well. I personally, I went out and did my homework and research, and I was able to find information that supported an alternative view.
okay.
I-
And then I just want to comment in my research, as far as maybe some rebuttal as well, especially I really honed into Wisconsin. The revenue that they've brought in from this for their smaller businesses, especially along the trails and their off-road routes in the county, have been amazing and really helped the growth for, retaining more employees as well as tourism. And I just wanted to throw that in there too, because it is about economic development, and that is something that's worked well, even in our neighboring counties that are doing it. That's all I have.
Right. Thank
I
you,
would
Joe.
just comment, I mean, I lean more towards just the UTVs. But, I mean, I guess I'd be willing to look at ATVs and UTVs. If there's an issue with the UTVs, we can always pull those off the table, I suppose, later, but
I think we
Well, I
should.
was just told there were issues on the ATVs and liability, and if somebody said something about liability, and I wanted them to explain that, because to me, it would be no different than me driving my truck on a county road and getting in an accident. You guys aren't liable. I am. The county's not liable. I have to have my own insurance. So that's where I'm coming from there. I have my own insurance on my ATV. Most people should if they're responsible.
definitely.
All right. Thank you, Joe. Any additional public comment? Hearing none, I'm going to go ahead and move on. Chris Weeding was supposed to be here to present on CARES Act funding application for the Rivers Edge Trail. I'm going to go ahead and push that off in the event that he gets here later. Otherwise, I think, Taylor, you could probably provide some synopsis as well, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to move to approval of professional service agreements with Schneider Geospatial. So,
Sure.
Yep.
Explanation,
so this is
I think.
entering an agreement. We talked about this so that the auditor's office can work to get their mapping and real estate transactions, everything to sync up. So it's just a contract to enter an agreement with Schneider Geospatial to do those splits and the parcel reviews.
I just didn't know.
Oh.
if Jolene wanted to make any
Anything
comments.
else?
Okay.
Just the splits and consolidations. Keep everything up to date, consistent, and correct.
I'll make a motion to approve the professional services agreement with Schneider Geospatial.
I will second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next item I have is set the time and date for the FY 2021 budget amendment.
Do you have a suggested time of date?
Yeah, this one would be June 2nd.
Right, this is the second amendment,
Yeah, because this is for that,
Region 6.
yeah, that money coming in.
Okay.
We have to budget for
Okay. And your proposed time, Jolene?
it, 9:02 or however you guys.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I had written down. Okay, so I'll make a motion to set the time and date for the public hearing on the fiscal 2021 budget amendment for June 2nd at 9:02.
I will second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next item I have is consideration of the fiscal year 2022 Central Iowa Community Services contract for mental health advocacy position. Can you unmute Lynn? Morning, Lynn.
Good morning.
You want to just,
I think it's the agreement. I've got bad internet where I'm at, and so I didn't catch everything you said, but the agreement is basically the same that we've done the last year or two. I think the difference, the change would be, first of all, in the amount of insurance coverage that we have to have. I think it's 5.2, and we will now additionally provide a copy of our something from our insurance showing that we have those levels of coverage that are listed there in 5.2.
okay. So in sections 5.1, 5.2, then I'm gonna, please, okay. The big changes are to make sure we're in compliance, was to make sure that we have the county hold harmless indemnification and the advocate liability insurance. So I can ask for a motion to approve the advocacy agreement.
I'll go ahead and make that motion.
Second?
I have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next, Matt Jones. Matt's going to discuss the RFP that was let for countywide multifunction printers and devices and his recommendation to the board. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning. Yeah, we did get three really strong bids for this. One of them we actually had to disqualify because 8 of the devices didn't quite meet county spec. I was asked to meet with several of the department heads to discuss it. What we came down to is we had 2 bids that we were discussing. One is just a little bit more money, but it's with the company that we currently have. And the way Mike and I view them is they really supplement the IT department. They will go to any office and train all the time. It's keeping with an interface that's in the entire county so that we all know it. And I can honestly say that even though the other bid was strong and price wise would save about $400 a month, that this was the better way to go for us and for our users with what they're using. And I totally appreciate what Premier has done for us over the last 5 years and just the amount of support that they do, that many times they're here fixing stuff and the IT department doesn't even have to know what's going on. So it saves us time and money, allows us to focus on other areas. So that's the recommendation. I can have the paperwork for you to sign when this is all done, so you don't have to take time during the meeting. But it was the general consensus of the department heads that I did speak with that they were the preferred method of choice to go with.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Any questions, Lance, Renee? Okay. I can ask for approval of the contract with Premier 360.
Make that motion.
I will second.
Okay, motion is second. Any discussion? Only thing I can say is thanks, Matt, for putting together a really all-inclusive RFP. It really kept things from falling between the cracks and didn't allow any vendors from manipulating or circumventing our actual needs. So I appreciate that, Matt. Okay, without any discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next I have is a Recorder's Monthly Report.
I'll make a motion to approve the recorder's monthly report.
I'll second it.
I have a motion, a second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next I have is approval of the open enrollment for employee benefits for 21-22.
Do we have dates?
It's
Or-
currently going on, and all changes and everything have to be made prior to the beginning of the new fiscal year.
Okay.
But enrollment and changes can occur based on life events, marriages, deaths,
Yep.
people become emancipated minors,
Right.
all those things. So, yep.
Okay. I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the open enrollment for fiscal year 21-22.
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next, I can ask for consideration of approval of the health and dental premiums for fiscal year 21-22.
I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve the health and dental premiums for 21-22.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next I have is Employee Years of Service Awards. Do we have employees lined up or anything?
None of mine are coming.
Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and read the list off. I know a lot of our employees are out working today and I appreciate that. So Jennifer Capel, in recognition of 5 years of service. Jesse Wright, 10 years. Steve Recker, 20 years of service. Nick Whitmore, 20 years of service. Leland Mosch, 15 years of service. Deb Mesh, 20 years of service. JD Holmes, 25 years of service. Anita Reed, 20 years of service. Jeff Folkerts, 20 years of service. Matt Jones, 10 years of service. Joe Donald, 15 years of service. Terry Clemens, 25 years of service. Rod Ryan, 40 years of service. Marty Idy, 10 years of service. Landon James, 10 years of service. Jody Mesh, 25 years of service. And Lynn Adams, 35 years of service. So I appreciate the hard work and obvious loyalty and dedication of our employees here at Hardin County. And the public may recognize some of the names, but a lot of them have definitely left a mark on Hardin County and to what we have a lot to be proud of here. So thank you to everyone. Next I have is a single status change for secondary roads department.
Make a motion to approve the change of status for the hiring of Garrison Tripp as of May 17th, 2021 at $12 an hour. He's a seasonal laborer and will be an employee on an on-call basis, on-call and seasonal basis.
I will second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next, I am going to go ahead and go back to the River's Edge Trail resolution. I'm going to go ahead, Taylor, if you want to explain that.
So I believe some of the COVID money was set aside for trails.
Not, and I
Not
want to make,
county money.
not county money,
Correct,
but this
yes.
was federal money that was earmarked at the federal level for trails. So
Yes.
Right.
money that is to be distributed to the county, yet to be distributed to the county. This has nothing to do with that. This is only trails money straight from the federal government,
Correct,
Department of
yep,
Treasury.
because we already got our portion, so yep, it's a completely
Okay.
different portion. So yep, so he's pretty much asking for permission to apply for some more. I believe he's gonna ask for from here in Eldora, from Edgington to 260th Street to get that done. Because he wanted to do that with Feenstra, but Feenstra decided not to do any of the trails.
No earmarks.
Correct.
All right, so I'm going to ask for consideration of approving the resolution authorizing the submittal of an application for funding for the COVID-19 Relief Recreational Trails Program to the DOT for funding of the Iowa Rivers Trail Development.
Make a motion to approve said resolution.
I will second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Again, this is not money that has come to the county, will be coming to the county. This is federal money passed through both the federal DOT and the state DOT for recreational trail funds only, correct?
Yep.
Correct.
Might as well try to get it.
So, Lance, anything to add?
Well, I always have the one concern about any application that we apply for, that it would not be for walking only. It would be for any, I understand that the Trails Committee chooses to have it for bicycle and walking, but any application that we apply for, I'd still like to leave them open for ATVs, horses, snowmobile, anything and everything.
Okay.
And Chris is very well aware of that.
Renee?
Nope, I have
no
no
other
other comment.
All right, I can ask for roll call vote. Angela, please.
Renee,
Aye.
Lance,
Aye.
BJ,
Aye. Motion carries. Next item of business is the ATV UTV ordinance discussion with possible action. So after hearing that there are more questions than maybe we have answers, I would prefer to direct Economic Development Director Angela De La Riva to host some type of public forum, sounding, listening post, in a larger venue at a soon to near future time, because I don't think we're going to get it done in the meeting today. And I think there's probably more opinions and more information that people deserve to be able to share. So instead of getting the information today and rushing things through, I'd prefer to direct Angela De La Riva to set up at least one, if not two or more listening sessions, so we get everything and anything involved, and everybody involved. Because I think there's very valid points to everything. And, I would just like to get more information.
I haven't been involved in the process of coming up with this. So I guess along with that, I would be curious. And she'd probably find out through there too, through that type of a venue too, as far as what the other towns are thinking. I mean, are towns going to be allowing these in? Are they not? Or is it just for the rural? I guess I'm not fully informed
I
either.
can
So
speak on some of it.
Okay.
I was gonna say Taylor has
Taylor,
a
go
lot of
ahead.
information.
Yeah, I do.
Am I able to say something?
Just wait a second, okay?
Because I can answer about the towns.
Okay, Joe, if you want to answer what the towns, I know, I want to preface, Joe, you're speaking as a member of the Economic Development Advisory Committee, correct?
Correct.
Go ahead,
Every
Joe.
town in Hardin County has been emailed, the mayor and or city council. There have been no responses. I have talked to one mayor and he doesn't have a problem with it. I had a discussion with this about Angela because we knew this meeting was coming up today. And I guess I don't understand why nobody's responding. Either they don't care and it's not a big deal to them. I don't know. I just want you to know there has been no response. They all have been reached out to.
okay.
Thank you, Joe.
Yep.
All right, Taylor.
Otherwise, I don't have a lot of questions.
I am a mayor too, so that's fun.
Okay.
So as you learn, when you email these cities, sometimes you have to keep hammering them, because I mean, it's not their full-time job. But, so from speaking, I still have not heard from everybody. I need to, just go ahead and straight up call some of them because they're not getting back to me. But we have 2 hard no's and 3 that are, yes, we allow them. So.
I was just curious. I mean, not that it's gonna
Yep.
stop it in the rural
So
area.
there,
I
but that's
mean,
still the minority of
yeah.
towns that have actually heard from it. I've only heard from 5, so I need to keep working on that. So here's some stats for you. Okay, I got UTVs. This is from other counties. Now, not all
Hold on
99
a second.
answered
I'm
either.
gonna, what's your source?
And service bureau. So it's just the county engineers.
So
asking
you
each other.
surveyed them.
Well, somebody else did it a
Okay.
couple months ago, back in March. This has been talked about frequently on the county engineers. So for ATVs, it is 39 yes, 23 no. And UTVs was 44 yes, 18 no. So there's a little more, so there are apparently some that do UTVs and not ATVs.
Okay.
Probably the same concerns you guys had. 40 of them, it's under an ordinance. Only 1 was a policy. And then there was other responses, but I'd assume ordinance, yeah, it was the majority there. Designated routes, only 15 were yes and 40 were no, and 7 were left blank.
So when it's no, they can be on
Yes,
any. of
open
the
travel,
roads.
yep. So, but there are some that do routes. Permits, 15 yes, 42 said no, there was no permit needed. Then it was who keeps track of the permits, and that was all over the place. Everybody does that differently. And then the fees, there were only 12 no's, and the yeses, they ranged anywhere from $10 to $50. There's one that was 17 and 75 cents, and I said, who came up with that one? But I also thought that was kind of funny. So those are just kind of some of the stats I had, and then I printed off this is the most recent one, but yeah. They just had some interesting conversations along the years, the different engineers.
All right. Thank you, Taylor.
Yep.
The 1775, Taylor, is what it costs to renew your rig.
Yeah,
So they might have just matched it and said, okay, this is the fee for the
Yeah.
annual.
maybe. Is that cost? Okay, well, there you go then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's the logic. So, Lance, go ahead.
I just took a few side notes when I went through the ordinance. So when it says operated on gravel roadways in Hardin County, one thing the insurance company preferred is that they're designated by the county engineer. If he wants to designate them all, I get it. But we need the engineer to designate what roads that they should ride on. I believe they talked about a lot of things in this ordinance. One is sunrise to sunset. That's a law. 35-mile-an-hour maximum, that's a law. I just, under 1.5 registration requirements, I'm sorry if we're doing an ordinance for Hardin County. I would rather have a Hardin County permit, and I don't care if they have a DNR permit. This is for our roads. It's not for state property. So I prefer a permitting for Hardin County, and I would like the towns to tie in with along with this permit. If the towns want to have them, let's make a universal permit for everybody. But that involves your ag, your non-ag. Ag's exempt anyway. They don't need licensing. They don't need the permits. They can do what they need to out there. They still have the sunrise, sunset, 35-mile-an-hour max. But if we want other people on these roads, or if ag wants to do a multi-purpose, why do they need to buy a DNR tag if they're just doing a multi-purpose within Hardin County? I mean, this is an ordinance for Hardin County. It's not an ordinance for the state. And that's my feelings on when it comes to the registration part of it. So I think we do need a permit fee. Some things I'd like to add on, if you're gonna put ATVs out there, I want them to yield to traffic.
But I think that's just the law of the road, though. I mean, I'm not a law enforcement
I
officer.
hate to say it, but I like it in writing.
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
And I don't want them parked on the side of the road. The road's not for parking. The road is still for ag use and vehicle.
Congress and,
And parking there could be obstructions and it's dangerous to all. And if we do an ordinance, I'd like to put a sunset on it. I'd like it to end at the end of the year to be revisited again in January.
So that, there were quite a few counties that do that where they renew it annually. That way that you're talking about it annually and just in case there are problems. So there were multiple counties that did that.
So if we were looking at doing something, let's try it, let's see how it works. If we do have enforcement problems, if we do have stuff, it ends at the end of the year. If it's working great, we can renew it in our January meeting, any week of
Mhm.
January. I'd prefer the whole month of January. So those are just a
nope,
few
I
things.
think
I
those
wanted-
are all valid points.
Yeah.
Renee?
I don't really have anything else. I agree with everything you had mentioned. But I don't think I have anything additional.
All right. Would you be amicable of having Angela set up some actual public hearings? Because public forums, I
Okay.
mean, something to where the public can give their input. Today, we weren't really set up for public hearing style, and I don't want to discount what anybody says. So if you're okay with it, I don't think we need if you want to take official action and direct Angela De La Riva to do that, I'm fine with that, but I think she would be the best person to initiate this, since she's been doing a lot of the legwork on it.
I don't have a problem doing that. Another thing, to address some of the questions they brought up, they're concerned about liabilities. In my mind, if I'm allowing you to be on there, that does, the county allows you to be on there, that does put us liable, because we passed an ordinance allowing these vehicles to be on it. Right now, they're not allowed. At some point, it will come back to us if we do not do an ordinance that is in everybody's best interest.
Okay.
That was one question. Law enforcement, enforcement's enforcement. I doubt we're gonna hire more officers to enforce, but I believe law enforcement may, with an ordinance, the officers would be more to have a better guideline as to what they're enforcing.
Yeah.
As to what they have right now.
One of the things I want to address is Donna's question about, I think it was Donna, about bicycles, was, the bicycle lobby and the bicycle riders are very proud and very large group. And I agree. What other group can you, or what other person using a highway or roadway doesn't have to have a permit or insurance? And so, you know, it's one of those things that I don't think is something that we're going to solve here in Hardin County, but I think it's a very valid point, and I want to give credit where credit is due on the bicycles as well. So.
But we don't have the authority to change it.
Correct. So that's all I had. But if you're okay with it, I'll contact Angela and have her organize some listening posts and
Yes,
bring back all that information.
the more the better.
Yep.
If she could do that from here, we could have those recorded so that we could
Yeah.
hear the.
I think if she goes out to out into the communities, I'm, you know, a couple evening ones. So we actually can get some people that may not be able to attend regularly. So, all right, I'll direct her on that. Other business, Lance,
No.
Renee?
I don't think so.
Okay. With that being said, I can ask for adjournment.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you.